Hey guys, Assalamu alaikum, Namaskar, Sastakal, whatever you feel connected with. In the last video, we discussed about the various phases of human reproduction. Today, in this video, we will discuss about the male reproductive system. Now, basically, the male reproductive system mainly comprises of primary sex organ. We'll categorize them as primary sex organ, accessory sex organ, and the external genitalia. The primary sex organ mainly comprises a pair of testes. Now, testes are called the primary sex organ because they are mainly responsible for formation of sperms, and they are also responsible for the secretion of the male sex hormone. Male sex hormone. Now, to help the primary sex organ, there are some helping organ or accessory organs which are called accessory sex organs or helping sex organs. Now, these accessory sex organs are certain structures and glands. Now, under this certain structure, there is a tube-like structure which are located posteriorly of the testes is called the epididymis. And there are some glands which help in the male reproductive system. And these glands are the seminal vesicle, then prostate gland, and Cowper's gland. Seminal vesicle is a secular gland and tubular gland. Prostate gland is a big gland, peanut-shaped gland, and Cowper's gland is also a paired gland. We'll discuss in details about these glands in the subsequent classes. Now we talked about some ducts. Basically, there are mainly two ducts. One is called vas deferens and another is called urinogenital duct. Now, urinogenital duct, it means this duct carries urine as well as sperms. That is why this duct is also known as urinogenital duct. Now, the last structure of the male reproductive system is called the external genitalia. In case of male reproductive system, the external genitalia is a muscular organ called penis. Now, this penis, it is used or is responsible for the deposition of sperms into the female's body. Now we'll discuss every structures of the male reproductive system in details. At first, we'll discuss about the testes. Now these testes are oval and small structures. These are oval small structures. These are not exactly circular, they are oval in structures. Their length is approximately 4 to 5 centimeter. 4 to 5 centimeter. These testes are located outside the abdominal cavity. Outside the abdominal cavity. That means they can be called as extra abdominal. They can be called as extra abdominal. The testes are located in a sac-like structures called scrotum or scrotal sac, scrotum or scrotal sacs. These are small sac-like structures. Now, these things will be clear when we'll be drawing it. Let's draw it. This is the sac-like structures. This is the sac-like structures, right? This is the sac-like structure. Now, these two scrotal sacs are separated by a septum, which is known as testicular septum. Now we label them. This is known as testicular septum. Testicular septum. This cavity of the scrotum is known as vaginal coelom. This cavity is known as vaginal coelom. Vaginal coelom. And inside this cavity, the testes are located. The testes are located inside the vaginal coelom. This vaginal coelom is filled with a tissue, and this tissue is known as hydrocele. This tissue is known as hydrocele, right? Now, these testicles or testes are fixed in their position with the help of a fibrous structures, which is called the gubernaculum, which is known as gubernaculum. Now, in this regard, I want to remind you one thing. There is another structure which fixes the testes in their position, and this is known as spermatic cord. This is the spermatic cord. This is the spermatic cord. Spermatic cord. Remember, through this spermatic cord, the veins are coming, the arteries are coming, the vas deferens are coming. Everything is coming through this spermatic cord. Now, if you are asked how the testes are fixed in the scrotum, then you will have to say there are two structures. One is gubernaculum, another is spermatic cord. Now, one thing you should remember, the testes during this embryonal period or embryonic development remains inside the abdominal cavity, but during this developmental phase, during the gestation period, 7th month of the gestation period, the testis descends down into the scrotum through a canal, and this canal is known as inguinal canal. This canal is known as inguinal canal. If you noticed minutely in the diagram, you have seen that the two scrotum or scrotal sac or testes are not at the same position. That means there is a level difference between the two testicles, and this level difference is due to prevent the squeezing during any external pressure. That means when you will get any kind of external pressure, in order to prevent the squeezing, the two testes are not at the same positions. Now, question arises, why the testes are extra-abdominal? Now, testes are extra-abdominal because in order to form the sperms or for the spermatogenesis process, the temperature requirement is 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than that of the body temperature. That means for the spermatogenesis, temperature requirement is 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than that of body temperature. Now, this testis is surrounded by one fibrous layer. The testis is surrounded by one fibrous layer, and this fibrous layer of the testis is known as tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea. Albuginea. This tunica albuginea is surrounded by another layer of tissue, and this layer is known as tunica vaginalis. Tunica vaginalis. Now, this is the overall structure of the testis. Now, in this case, you have to remember that the temperature of the scrotum or scrotal sac is maintained by a special type of muscle known as dartos muscles. That means the temperature of the scrotal sac is maintained by a specialized muscle known as dartos muscles. So this is this mass is for today. In the subsequent video, we will discuss part 2 of this video. Thank you so much.
Peace.